My name is Margaret Collins, and I just turned 78 last month. I've always believed that aging gracefully means not just caring for your body, but also protecting your spirit, your dignity, and most importantly, your boundaries. That lesson didn't come easy. It came with tears, heartache, and years of tolerating what I should have never allowed. I raised three children, Michael, Sarah, and Thomas. After my husband Henry passed away 12 years ago, I assumed my golden years would be spent surrounded by loving children and warm memories. But I quickly learned that love, even within family, can twist into something painful when left unchecked. What I'm about to share isn't meant to create fear or bitterness. It's meant to serve as a warning, especially to seniors like me. There are certain things you should never tolerate from your children, not because you don't love them, but because if you do, they might unintentionally destroy the very peace you've earned. The first thing I learned the hard way was never allow guilt tripping. After Henry died, I fell into a spiral of loneliness. Michael, my eldest, saw it. At first, he was compassionate, offering to move me in with his family in Chicago. But once I was there, the guilt began. "Mom, we rearranged our lives for you," he would say whenever I asked for anything, even the smallest favor. If I wanted to go out, he would remind me of how much they had sacrificed. Slowly, I stopped asking for anything at all. I began feeling like a burden instead of a mother. Guilt tripping is manipulative, even when done subtly. It robs you of the ability to speak freely. You find yourself shrinking, over-apologizing, and living with a constant sense of debt. I stayed quiet for 3 years, living in his guest room, tiptoeing like a stranger in a home that was supposed to be filled with love. The second thing is never allow them to control your money. That lesson came through Sarah, my middle child. Sweet Sarah. She always had a good heart, but she also had poor judgment when it came to finances. She lost her job and came to me crying, saying she needed help with her mortgage. I offered to assist, and somehow that turned into handing over control of my checking account. "Just to help manage the bills," she said. Before I knew it, my savings started disappearing. She wasn't malicious. She truly thought she was helping by paying her debts first. But good intentions can still cause damage. By the time I took back control, I had lost nearly $40,000. Seniors often get targeted by scammers, but sometimes the most well-meaning scam wears the face of someone you raised. I had worked 35 years as a schoolteacher. Every dollar I had saved was meant to keep me secure. When you let your children control your finances without boundaries, you risk not only your independence, but your very survival. The third thing you must never allow is emotional neglect. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But loneliness in old age isn't just about being physically alone. It's about being forgotten. After I moved out of Michael's home, I found a small place in Oregon. I hoped my kids would call regularly, visit on holidays, maybe include me in their lives again. But days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. My phone remained silent. Holidays passed with just texts, if that. I didn't want to seem needy, so I made excuses for them. They're busy. They have their own lives. But that silence began to hollow me out. Seniors need connection. We need to know that we matter. Emotional neglect is slow and quiet, but it chips away at the soul. If your children start treating your loneliness as an afterthought, call it out. Do not accept it. Don't confuse independence with isolation. The fourth thing I will never tolerate again is using my home as a dumping ground for their problems. Thomas, my youngest, brought this lesson. He had gone through a divorce and asked if he could stay just a few weeks to get back on his feet. Of course, I welcomed him. He's my son. But weeks turned to months, and months turned to a year. He left dirty dishes, brought loud friends over, used my car without asking, and acted like I was the guest. He treated my home like a free hotel with no responsibilities. I felt like a prisoner. Every time I brought up house rules, he'd get defensive. "Mom, I'm going through a lot. Can you just give me space?" There's nothing wrong with helping your children in crisis, but there must be boundaries. Your home is your sanctuary. If it no longer feels that way, it's time to draw the line. I had to ask Thomas to move out, and it was one of the hardest things I've done. But I did it for my peace. The fifth thing you should never accept is constant criticism or disrespect. You see, growing up, I always believed respect came naturally from love. But love doesn't always stop people from hurting you. As I got older, my kids started treating me like I was behind the times. They would roll their eyes when I didn't know how to use a new app. "Mom, you don't get it," they'd say, laughing. They would interrupt me at dinners, talk over me on phone calls, and sometimes outright scold me like I was a child. Words matter. Tone matters. Just because they're your children doesn't give them permission to be unkind. Seniors are not stupid. We are not useless. We have wisdom that no screen or app can replace. If your children start treating you like you're lesser, call it out. Don't laugh it off. Don't sit silently and stew. Disrespect, even when coded in jokes, is poison to the heart. Finally, the sixth thing I beg you to never tolerate is them making decisions for your life without your voice. This one hurts the most. Last year, I had a minor fall and was taken to the hospital. I was fine, just a twisted ankle, but while I was there, Sarah and Michael decided I should move into an assisted living facility. They didn't consult me. They said it was for my own good. I still remember sitting in that sterile hospital room when Sarah told me, "We found a lovely place for you. You'll be safer there." I was furious. I had a home. I had a life. I wasn't helpless. But suddenly, I felt like my opinion didn't matter anymore. Like I had no say in my future. No matter your age, your voice is yours. Your life is yours. Do not let anyone, especially your children, strip that from you under the guise of care. Speak up. Ask questions. Demand your seat at the table of your own life. Eventually, I refused to move. I showed them I could recover. I hired help on my own terms, and I kept my independence. It wasn't about rebellion, it was about dignity. Looking back, I don't think my children ever set out to hurt me. They're not bad people. They were trying to balance their own lives, and sometimes they made choices that prioritized convenience over care. But I played a role too. I allowed it. I let the guilt settle in. I silenced my own needs. I compromised too much of myself for the illusion of harmony. Aging is a delicate chapter, but it doesn't mean becoming invisible. It doesn't mean becoming soft on boundaries or letting people walk over you just because they share your blood. Today, I live in a small, sunlit home in Salem, Oregon. I have a lovely neighbor named Darlene who checks on me often. I tend my rose garden, read novels on my porch, and volunteer at the local library. My children visit now, not often, but enough. More importantly, they respect me. I earned that respect by drawing the lines I once avoided. If you're reading this and you're older, please know, your time is precious. Don't let guilt, manipulation, or loneliness